Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Boy Mompreneur. I should be able to say my own name. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Boy Mompreneur. It has been a while and I apologize because life has thrown its hand at us, which is why it's been so long since I posted a video. I still have videos that I need to edit and put out, but a lot has happened in our personal lives, and a lot has happened as far as like I went back to work, the kids went back to school, so it's just been all over the place. But today I am here to tell y'all what it's like to plan a trip to Disney World in 2021. With all this COVID stuff happening, things have changed, rules have changed, processes have changed. Now, I've never been to Disney World before when we went, so I can't compare it to planning a trip in any other year. But, I mean, if you're planning a trip, here are some tips and some things that I went through that you may encounter. Also, with COVID restrictions lifting in certain places and for different reasons and blah, blah, blah. Things have changed. This video might be just a little bit late, but who knows? So there's still some stuff that you might want to consider if you're planning a trip to Disney this year. So when did I start planning my Disney trip? I started planning my Disney trip a year before we actually went. I actually started maybe like the end of 2019, early 2020. I started looking into it the end of 2019. I really started planning it the beginning of 2020. But it worked out to be a year ahead of time because of COVID and everybody shutting down. Because I was actually planning it for 2020. I wanted to go to Disney in 2020, but everything had shut down. People weren't able to travel. So because of stuff like that, we ended up not going until 2021. But it worked out because my dad had moved down to Florida and he was kind of new to the Florida area in 2020. So he wouldn't have been much help. And then he had a lot of stuff going on, so I'm not sure if he would have even been able to make it if we went in 2020 instead of 2021. Also, it worked out because we went for my son's birthday, so it ended up working out. But we did start a year in advance. I'm also happy that we started a year in advance because I was able to look at stuff and figure out how to do certain things and just get tips from other people a year in advance instead of trying to plan this trip for 6 people and it ended up being 8 people 3-4 months before we went, and then we would have got there and all this COVID stuff, and it just would have been a nightmare. So I started planning a year in advance. I did not book anything a year in advance. I just started looking into it. I had decided whether I wanted to stay on Disney property versus an Airbnb a year in advance, and just kind of started looking at flights and stuff like that. We didn't get our flights a year in advance though, but I did start looking at flights. How early or late did we wait to book? We actually booked everything really late. We booked everything in November and we went in January. So we had November, probably like, I think it was early November. So I think we had all in November, December, and then we went in January. We literally booked everything 2 months in advance. How much did it cost? So I had to write everything down because I wanted to make sure that I got as much of an accurate price point as I could. I don't remember everything, so I don't have everything, but I have as much as I could. Like, I went back and got some of my receipts. But so for our flights, we ended up flying United. We flew United. And they were $71 per person. So because of COVID, I also decided to get the protection for refunding flights, which was $13 per person. So you got the $71 plus the $13 protection, which rounded out to about $84 per person. And these were round trip flights. I got them off of Hopper. I didn't go directly through the airline. Not really sure why. I don't remember why at this point. I think because I heard that Hopper had better deals or something like that. I'm not sure, but I ended up going through Hopper instead of directly through their airline, and we paid $84 per person round trip. And for 5, that was $416. That was 3 adults and 2 kids, $416 for 5 round trip tickets. There was a price difference. When I first looked, and I started to get them then, and for a minute I started to regret the fact that I didn't get them then, but it worked out. When I first started looking at seriously buying these tickets, I found 5 round trip tickets for $657. And everybody was like, oh my God, get those tickets. And I was like, oh, okay, let me get them. And then I didn't, for whatever reason, I don't know. But I let it pass me and I didn't get them. This was like maybe August 2020 where I found that deal. And we still hadn't had our date exactly set yet. We knew it was going to be in January because I knew I wanted it to be around my son's birthday. So, but we didn't have actual dates. And there's this thing in my job called pick. So there's shift pick. I didn't know what shift I was going to end up on just yet. I didn't know anything. So I didn't know what days I was going to have off. I didn't know what days my boyfriend was going to have off. I didn't know none of that. So we didn't have actual dates yet. So that's why I didn't get the tickets. But I'm glad I didn't, because had I got them then, we would have paid $657 for round trip for 5, and we ended up paying $416 round trip 5 tickets. Now that does not include checking bags, because I don't know if this is just a hopper thing or if this is just the flights that I end up getting. I don't know, but our bags were not included, so we didn't get that like first check bag free, or we didn't get none of that. We had to pay for all our check bags. The only bags that was free was our personal carry-on items. But as far as check bags, we paid for all of those. So that $416 does not include check bags. I think I paid $135 to check all of our bags, going and coming. So I paid $135 going, and I paid $135 coming back to check all of our bags. So $416 plus $135 plus $135. Y'all do the math, because I don't feel like it. But yeah. Obviously, if you watched any of my other videos, if you watched our traveling to Disney World video, which is up, if you watched that, then you see that we did opt to stay in the Airbnb. We did not stay on Disney property. This was everybody except my mother's first time staying in the Airbnb, so it was a little bit it was new for everybody, and everybody was a little skeptical about, do we really want to stay in the Airbnb? Don't we just want to stay on Disney property? This is our first time, this and the third, blah blah blah. But I had talked to people who went, and I talked to people who went multiple times, and everybody was like, stay in the Airbnb. Disney property is cool, but you get more bang for your buck in Airbnb, honestly. That was pretty much the roundabout that I got from everybody, as far as, do we stay on Disney property or do we stay in an Airbnb? I wanted to stay on Disney property at first. I was like, no, this is our first time. We gotta stay on Disney property. We gotta get the whole experience. We gotta. And everybody was like, yeah, okay. Okay, if that's what you want, sis, do it. But I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Now, I don't know what we'll do next time, but we did end up staying in the Airbnb, and we absolutely loved our house. Again, our traveling to Disney World video is up, and I did a house tour. It was a beautiful house. It was a little janky. I probably should have did another one, but I didn't. I got the house though, but it was beautiful. And honestly, we had said if we come back to Florida, we do want to stay there again. But unfortunately, fortunately, sis' house is popping now, and she's booked. So if we went back anytime soon, we couldn't stay there because she's booked. The house is completely booked. So I don't know, but I will say this, the house was beautiful, and I don't have anything against Airbnbs anymore. Honestly, my boyfriend, he was the one with the problem with the Airbnbs. Him and my dad, they was like not feeling it. They wanted to stay on Disney property in a hotel. But now we're planning another trip, 2 other trips to 2 other states, and he's looking at Airbnbs. So that tells you something. Our Airbnb price per night was $105, and we stayed 6 nights. So with the $105 per night, cleaning fee of $125, service fee of $106, and then taxes and other miscellaneous fees was $90.60, bringing our total to $952.19 total for the week. Personally, I don't think that was bad for the house. We got a really nice house. I'm sorry, y'all hear this chair creaking. I'm sorry, but we had a really nice house. So for $953, for a whole week, personally, I think that was pretty good. Also, we split that. The adults split that, and I think it was $238 a person. So between 4 people, we only paid $238 to stay somewhere for a week. To me, that worked out. The way that we had to do it was we paid for half up front. So at the time that I was booking the Airbnb, I had to pay half, which was $476.10. And then before we arrived to check in, so like I think it was 2 weeks, because you put your card on file. If you've never booked through Airbnb before, you put your card on file. So whatever card you paid with, you can tell them like, okay, in 2 weeks, take the money off this card. So whatever card you pay with, that's the money, that's the card they're gonna take the money from. So I think it's 2 weeks before you show up, you gotta pay the other half. I think that's how that went. It was either 2 weeks before we showed up or 2 weeks after I booked. It was one of the two, but it was only $476.10. So they took that, and then before we went, they took the other $476. So for our Disney tickets, we got the Florida resident discount because my dad is a Florida resident. So we ended up going to Disney. Now, we were in Florida for 6 days. We only did Disney parks for 4 days though. We paid $263 per adult and $245 per kid. Like I said, it's $263 divided by 4 because we was there 4 days. $245 divided by 4, we was there 4 days. So that's how much we paid per day. But in total, we paid $263 per adult and $245 per kid. Now that is with the Florida resident discount. So in total, we paid, it came out to be about $1,541, but then when you add taxes and fees, because Disney gonna add taxes and fees, it came out to, if I'm not mistaken, like $1,680. If I'm not mistaken. Now, with the Florida resident discount, let me tell you, the Florida resident has to be the purchaser of the tickets. There's no way around that. We tried, because I was the one planning it. Everything was gonna happen in my name. And we couldn't do it that way because I'm not a Florida resident. So to get the discount, like I said, it came up to be about $1,680 with the discount. Without the discount, it was going to be $2,993. I remember that because I text everybody and said, what we gonna do? Because without that discount, we gotta pay $3,000 in tickets. Tickets alone. This don't have nothing to do with flights or accommodations. Tickets, park tickets for 4 days was going to be $3,000. So what we ended up doing was I had to cash at my dad the money, and he had to pay for it on his card. Now, my dad is like almost 60 years old. So really, I did it. I cashed out him the money. He sent me the card information, and then we did it that way. But the card on file has to be the Florida resident. And when you get there to pick up those tickets, they look for the ID of the Florida resident. So don't think you're going to use the Florida resident discount because you got cousin Susie down there. And Susie, you don't really know her, but she lets you use her address. And when they get there, they're going to look for Susie. And if Susie not there, you're not getting them tickets. So if you think, oh, we'll just use such and such address, or such and such will just get them for us and then we'll pick them up from her. That's not how that works. No. Whoever is the Florida resident has to be with you when you go to pick up those tickets. We even tried to send my dad to get the tickets early. So he go pick up the tickets, and then when we get there, we just get the tickets from him. when he called over the phone, I don't even remember why he called over the phone, but he did. When he called over the phone, they was like, no, each person has to be here to pick up their own ticket. Yeah. So, but when we got there, they asked for his ID. He showed us ID, Florida resident, handed us all the tickets. We didn't do the hopper passes. We had 4 individual day passes, and we had to reserve each park. So the reason our itinerary went the way it did, Disney's Hollywood Studios was day 1. Animal Kingdom was day 2. Magic Kingdom was day 3 because that was on my son's birthday, and I figured we're better to turn 7 than Magic Kingdom. And then Epcot was going to be day 4 because I had heard Epcot was more for adults. I mean, kids had fun, and I figured after 3 days in the parks, they was going to be wiped out. They wouldn't care. We ended up not following that schedule, but that was how we did it because that's how I reserved it. You had to have the parks reserved. And if, say, we reserved Hollywood Studios but decided, well, we going to do Animal Kingdom today and Hollywood Studios tomorrow. Your pass had to be reserved for that park that day or you wasn't getting in. So, I think that was new. I don't think that's always been a thing. And then as far as the hopper pass, we could have did that, but honestly, we didn't see too much hopping going on. We didn't think we was going to do that too much because we never been. So we're going to want to explore each park as much as we can. We don't really need to hop. Plus, we was late every day, so we stayed till the park closed anyway. But that's how that went. So our total cost, our flights, Airbnb, and Disney tickets rounded out to $3,048. Now, each day that we went to the park, we got preferred parking because we didn't want to walk 3 miles to get to the park. After we drove all the way here, we don't want to walk. Now, our Airbnb was pretty close. It wasn't that far, but we don't want to walk. We're going to walk all in the park. We don't want to walk to the park. So we got preferred parking. So that was $50 a day, 4 days, $200. So that took us to $3,248. So once you add the $3,248 plus the groceries that we had to get, which I really don't know how much we spent on that, plus the rental car, which I don't remember how much we spent on that. I remember though us talking about how much everything cost like while we was down there, because we was like, okay, so if we wanted to come back again, this trip cost us X amount, so we know in order to come back again we got to have at a minimum X amount. Now we didn't bar no expenses, so we did what we wanted to do, when we wanted to do it, how we wanted to do it while we was down there. We didn't hold back. It wasn't, oh no, we can't get that because we don't got, oh no, we can't, oh no, put that back. No. One of the days the kids forgot their masks at the house, and I had to go buy another mask for them both, and I want to say both of the masks was like $20 a piece. Something ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Like, Disney be bugging sometimes, but we got them. They both got those little balloon light up souvenirs. They got $7 balloons or $15. One was $7 and then the other two was like $15. So they got $15 balloons, and it was just, yeah. We was like, we in Disney for the first time. We not holding back nothing. So after we got done talking and we realized we kind of added up everything at that time, I remember us saying this trip cost us about $4,000. So that took our grand total to an estimated $4,000 because flights, Airbnb, Disney tickets, groceries, rental car, and then parking and any other money that we might have spent while we was down there. That took us to about $4,000. Plus, if you add in those check bag fees that I didn't add in before, I'm sure once you add that to $3,248, plus the rental car, plus the groceries, plus miscellaneous stuff, we around $4,000 somewhere. So our grand total for our entire trip, start to finish, going there, coming home, was $4,000 estimated. So when I first looked at Disney and I looked at staying on property and I looked at flights and all this, okay, so when I first looked, I looked at doing everything through Disney. I was gonna book, I went to the Disney website and I was gonna book everything through there. And I think the only thing we would have had to get was our flights, because we was on property. We didn't need a car, all that other stuff. We did go out to eat twice while we was there, I think. All the other times we ate at home. Or at the house. We ate breakfast in the mornings at the house every morning. And we had lunch at the park one way or another. Whether it was we brought food, whether it was we stopped somewhere. And then dinner, more often than not, by the time we left the park, we really wasn't that hungry. I remember us going out to eat one day after. Other than that, we really wasn't that hungry. And then if we was hungry, we cooked at home. I really don't remember what we did for dinner, but we only went out to eat twice. I do remember that. But as far as price comparison, when I looked earlier to stay on the property and I booked and was gonna book everything through DisneyWorld.com, it was $7,000. So to pay $3,000 less than what I had originally thought we was going, I was thinking we're gonna need $10,000 for this trip, because $7,000 was our hotel accommodations and our Disney park tickets, and we still needed flights. We were still gonna want to go out to eat. We were still gonna want to do stuff, and if we were staying in a hotel, 9 times out of 10 we was gonna have to go out to eat. I was like, y'all, we're gonna need about $10,000 to make this trip happen. Luckily, we only needed 4. That worked. Would I stay on Disney property or an Airbnb next time we go? I don't know. I loved our Airbnb. I do kind of want the Disney property experience. I do. But I don't know. I think if we go as like a big family trip again, I think anytime I do a big family trip, it's going to be an Airbnb. I don't really care where it is unless it's like out the country. Other than that, I loved our Airbnb. And I'm the type, I look at reviews. I will look at the house 17 times and read all the reviews, 17 times before I book it. So is there a chance I might get a jacked up Airbnb? Possibly. But the fact that I am thorough when I look at where me and mine gonna be staying, I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. Honestly, I think if we go and do another family trip, we might do the Airbnb. I do have an idea of when we'll stay on property, but I can't say that yet. I can't say when it will be just yet. But we are going to stay on Disney property at least one time that we go. I just can't say when. Do I know when we're going back yet? No. But I do want to go back. We all left saying we want to go back. Only person who's having a hard time with going back is my boyfriend. But that is because we got horrible news on our way into the park. Into Magic Kingdom on my son's birthday. So it just kind of hit different for him. But everybody else is like, when we going back? Was the process easy? Once everybody got on the same accord, yes. Now, while we was all on different pages, no, not really, because you got 4 adults. My boyfriend kind of stayed out of it. He really didn't make no plans. How much it costs? How much I need to see? Okay, that was pretty much his stance on everything. My mom, on the other hand, she said she had the same stance, but she didn't. She was one of those, just tell me how much I owe, and I'll just go with the flow and blah blah. And then she was very opinionated. So there was that. And then my dad, who was a control freak. Now I'm planning this trip, but my dad is a control freak. So he wants to be in control at all times. But yet he don't know what he's doing planning this trip. So yeah. Once everybody got on the same accord, though, it was very easy. It was a breeze. Disney's COVID restrictions. Okay. Now, this is a topic all in itself. Disney's COVID restrictions were at times rough to deal with. And the reason why I say that is because we are not really a mask family. We wear them when we have to, obviously, but we don't. That's another video for another day. But Disney was not playing. You're gonna wear that mask and you're gonna wear it over your nose and below your chin, or you're gonna get out. Period. The only time you can take that mask off is when you're eating. You can't even take the mask off to take pictures. You could be eating, and if they see that camera come out, no ma'am, no sir. Put that mask on. Chew in the mask for the picture, because you're gonna put that mask on. You literally can only take it off to eat or drink. And eating and drinking kind of slows down your process, because you can't eat and drink throughout the park, because they want you to be seated in one spot if you have your mask off. Obviously, if you're eating or drinking, you have your mask off, so they say no, sit down in one area, find you a spot, sit down there, you can eat, you can drink, you can do whatever. So if you decide it's time for a snack break, yeah, you're gonna be sitting in that one area until you finish your snack. Like at one point in Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, we stopped and got these little icy Dole pineapple cup things. And they were really good, but it was kind of cold that day. But because it was cold that day and they were cold, it was taking us a while to finish them. And we couldn't keep moving. So we was losing time in the park because we had to sit here until we finished them. So you was either going to get a brain freeze because you were going to gulp it all down, or you was going to waste your money because you was going to throw half of it away because you was ready to keep moving, or you was going to lose time in the park because you had to sit here until it was done. And even with kids, they can't eat throughout the park. So if you want to get them a little snack or something, unless they was under 2 and they didn't need a mask anyway, yeah, y'all got to stop to give your kid a sip of water. It was a little bit on the ridiculous side to me. But we paid our money. We didn't want to get kicked out. We followed the rules. But it was a little bit on the ridiculous side, if you ask me. My son was eating some gummy fruit. I can't think of the name of it. I can see those Welch's gummy things. Fruit snacks. My son was eating fruit snacks. My 5-year-old, mind you. And what he was doing was, he was sitting there eating them like this. We was by ourselves, wasn't nobody around. Some lady who worked there came out the woodworks out of nowhere, literally from behind some trees, and told him he had to pull his mask up. So like I said, it was a little bit on the ridiculous side to me, but he found a way around that. He would pull it down, stick it in his mouth, put his mask back up. And he did that with every little snack he had, because he was hungry. He's 5. He's been walking all day. Yes, he's hungry. He wants a snack. So he learned. Stick it in his mouth, pull his mask back up. And when he want another one, he do the same thing. Pull his mask back up. So, the lines were extra long, but not as long as what you would normally see with Disney, because apparently lines could be like an hour long. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting lines to be like an hour and some. And I was kind of expecting for everybody else in my family to be like, yeah, I'm not doing this no more because I can't stand out here like this. But you will see something like 30-minute wait, 45-minute wait, 50-minute wait. Swear to God, it was like a 10-minute wait. You literally was kind of like in and out. But that's because the lines were so long because of social distancing. So they would have a line on the ground here, and then 6 feet away it would be another line on the ground. So that's where each family had to stand. So the line seemed super long, but it wasn't. There was really only one ride that was actually, it took about the amount of time that they said it was going to take. It said it was like an 80-minute wait, and it took a good 50, 60, 70 minutes for this ride. Like, we went and rode other rides, came back, and my parents were still in line for this ride. And that was the 7 Dwarfs Gold Mine ride. That roller coaster was about a 70-minute wait. It really was. It got to the point where my mother and my father stayed in the line because we all wanted to ride it. But they was standing there talking. So they was like, y'all can go ride some other stuff. So we went and rode Ariel's Under the Sea. And then we went and rode the Mad Teacup Party. And then we came back, and now it was our turn. But mind you, we had to wait in line for Ariel's Under the Sea, and we had to wait in line for the Mad Teacup Party. Neither line was as long. I think Ariel's line was like a 25-minute wait, and it was probably more like a 10-minute wait. And then the Mad Teacup Party, that ride probably had like a 20-minute, 30-minute wait, and it was probably like 15 minutes. So between the 10-minute ride for Ariel and then the actual ride, which was I don't know how long, and then the teacup ride line, and then the actual ride, which was I don't know how long, by the time we finished there, now it's time for the Seven Dwarfs roller coaster. That was the only ride that I can honestly say took about as long as they said it would, as far as the line. Other than that, the lines really looked long because they were social distance. They really weren't that long. I appreciated the 30% capacity rule. If you could keep that, Disney, if somehow you end up seeing this video, which I hope you do, if you could keep the 30% rule, I really like that. So at least until I come back. After that, y'all can go back to 100%. Maybe 45, I might be able to deal with that, but if you could. A good age for kids that I would say, my kids are, I think, in the perfect age group, because they were able to do everything. There was nothing they weren't able to do at Disney. Not the stuff that we wanted to do. Mind you, we didn't do everything. Obviously, we couldn't do everything. And everybody told me that before we went. It don't matter how long you stay in that park, you're not going to be able to do everything your first time. You're going to have to go back. So don't expect to get the whole park done. So I already knew we weren't going to be able to do everything. There's parts of the park that we didn't even see. So I know that we didn't do everything. But everything that we wanted to do, that we tried to do, my kids was able to do everything. My oldest son is kind of tall for his age, but my youngest son is kind of, well, no. They never guessed my kids' ages right. Never. But I would say between 5 and maybe 9 before they start getting too big to care about stuff like that. Is like the perfect age group. Like perfect. Because everything is still so amazing. All the characters are real. It's perfect. And they can do everything. And they remember it. Because I started to take my kids when they were like 2 and 3. And somebody was like, girl, are you crazy? First of all, they're not going to be able to do that much. And second of all, you're going to waste your money. Because when you tell them you remember, they're going to be like, no. So I didn't take them, and I waited, and I'm glad I did. Because they remember it. They were able to actually take it all in. Like, oh my God, we're here. This is amazing. Like, I can't tell y'all how many times I heard, this is the best birthday ever, from my son. So I would say between like 5 and 9 is probably the ideal perfect age. Once they're older than that, then it's just about what they still like. Because obviously there are older kids there, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 26. And they love it. So I can't say like after 9 is pointless, because I'm sure it's not. But as far as the authenticity of the joy and the genuine excitement when you see certain characters, and just that part, like the dreams part, that part, I think I would say probably like between 5 and 9. We're going again before my oldest son is 9, and he just turned 7. I can guarantee you that one. Coming up with the time frame for our trip was, I wanted to go in the summer. My father told me, no you don't, because it's really, really hot out here, and who wants to stand in those lines with those masks on in 100-degree weather? And it's humid. You're not going to enjoy it. Your first time coming to, and this was our first time in Florida. It wasn't my first time in Florida. Me and my mother went to Florida a few years ago. I was still in high school, like in like the 10th grade or something, and we went to Daytona Beach. But it was everybody else's first time in Florida. My kids' first trip ever, my boyfriend's first time in Florida, My dad was like, you're not gonna enjoy it. The heat is so different here, because he's originally from DC and we're from Cleveland. I'm originally from California, but I was raised in Cleveland. So he was like, the heat is so different, you're not gonna enjoy yourself. You don't want your first time in Florida to be during the summer. So come like when it's winter there, then you can come here, because then the heat will be more bearable. So we decided we would come when it was going to be cold here. It'll at least be warm there. We came up with January because we was like, okay, we want to go when it's cold anyway. It's cold here in January. It should be warm there in January. And then plus our oldest son's birthday is in January. So that's how I came up with the time frame. I decided, okay, we'll just go around his birthday. It'll be a birthday trip, because I don't do birthday parties no more. I have my own reasoning for not doing birthday parties, but I decided that for birthdays, we're going to go do something. We're going to go kick it. We're going to go on a trip. We're going to do something. But as far as a party, I can't tell you the last time I did one of those. So, what parks we went to were Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, and Magic Kingdom. We decided to forego Epcot because of what happened on the original day that we went to Magic Kingdom. Because of that and how that day went, we decided to go back to Magic Kingdom. We went on a Saturday and it was a lot busier than I feel like it would have been on a weekday, especially since we went in January. It wasn't the summer, so kids were in school, people had to work. So the next day that we were supposed to go to a park would have been Sunday at Epcot. And I went to customer service before we left Saturday, Magic Kingdom, and changed our reservation from Sunday at Epcot to Monday back at Magic Kingdom. So we actually did not see Epcot yet. Florida in January. It's cold. I don't care what nobody say. It's cold. Here in Cleveland, when we reach 50-60 degree weather, we ain't wearing jackets. We back in short sleeves. It's nice. 50-60 degree weather in Florida is, you need a coat, not a jacket, a coat. So now I am better prepared for the next time I go. Now don't get me wrong, we had some warm days where I think there's one day where we was wearing shorts. Monday, the day we went back to Magic Kingdom, we was all in short sleeves and no jackets around our waist, whatever the case. I had the kids' jackets in my book bag. Like, we had some nice days, but for the most part, it was cold. I paid to get that pool heated, and we didn't even use it. It was that cold. I am pissed about that. I didn't realize it was going to be that cold. But Florida in January, just be on notice, it's cold. My favorite park, I don't have one. I absolutely loved each and every one of them. And I have different favorite parts of each park. And none of them outweigh another park. So, I don't know. I can't say. I love them all. I'm a Disney head. Like, I think, truth be told, my calling is something in Disney. What? I don't know. Because I don't really feel like I'm like a Disney princess. But I don't know. Like, my heart is Disney. Like, if you opened up my heart, honestly, it's probably the Cinderella castle with what's her, Tinkerbell, and her fairy dust following behind her. That's probably what my heart looked like. I'm a Disney head. And were the water parks open? No, they were not. They were due to open in March. We went in January, so they should be open now, but they were not open when we went. So the next time we go, we're gonna go. I don't know if they were not open due to COVID. I don't know if they were not open due to like reconstruction, or if it just wasn't the season. I don't know why they weren't open, but they weren't. So next time we go, we're going to try to go when everything is open so we can experience everything. Any ride closures, I don't know. The only ride that I know for a fact was closed while we was there was Space Mountain. I don't know why it was closed, but it was. Other than that, we didn't really see so many closed rides. Like I said, we didn't go through the whole park. We tried to go through as much of the park as we could, but I'm absolutely positive there are parts of these parks that we did not see. It looked like they were maybe building a ride over by Big Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain. It looked like either that was a ride that was closed and being torn down, or a ride that's now being added, because there was construction over there. But other than Space Mountain and that, whatever that was, I didn't see too much closed. Everything seemed to be pretty open to me. Even the restaurants were open. You just had to have reservations. And most of the time we didn't have a reservation, so we had to like make a reservation somewhere across on the other side of the park to give us time to get there for our reservation. Stuff like that. But other than that, planning a trip to Disney in 2021 really wasn't that hard, especially since I had looked it up ahead of time. And certain things I knew, like I knew we had to have reservations for the parks. I think that would have been a real headache finding that out after we were there. I also knew about the mobile orders for the food. I knew about that. And I knew that lines were going to be extra long. So I prepared everybody. Like, these lines might be dumb long, but I don't think we're not going to have to stand there that long. So yeah, if you're planning a trip to Disney, really whenever you're planning it, be it 2021, 2022, 2023, or beyond, just do your research. That's all I can say. Research it. People think I'm crazy because I research trips before I take them. Because I want to know. I want to know what I'm getting into. I'm not like a strict stick to the itinerary kind of person. I'm more of a go with the flow kind of person. But I do like to have an idea of what I'm doing. I really like to have an idea of what flight I'm going to be on, where I'm sleeping at night, and if there's anything to do near those areas. I like to be like, okay, well, I know this is near here, let's do this, because I'm not a figure it out when we get here kind of person, but I am a go with the flow kind of person. So I do like to have an idea of where to start, and then we can go with the flow, pretty much, if you get what I'm saying. So planning this trip has been the most research I've ever done on a trip. I literally researched this trip for a year. Literally. That is no exaggeration. So my tips and my advice: do your homework. I can't say whether you should be in an Airbnb or on the property or not. That's up to you. That's what your heart desires, not mine. Plus, I really don't, I've only done one, so I can't tell you in comparison to another one. I went into it with no expectations because I didn't want to get disappointed. So I tried to have as little expectations as possible. I knew certain things, but I didn't want to have certain set in stone expectations of how this trip was going to go. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I was able to relax and enjoy the moment, and I didn't have to worry about it. Another thing that I would suggest, I would suggest going on a weekday. Me personally, if I go again, I'm going on a weekday because it was less crowded. The weekend, we only went one weekend day, and I already saw the difference. Like, I could tell the difference from the time we was pulling in. When I put up this Magic Kingdom video, you will see from the time we pulled in to Magic Kingdom, I could tell the difference between a weekday and a weekend. And just have fun. Like, don't go trying to be Sergeant such and such. And yes, and it's crowded. I didn't have my kids like stay right here next to me, but I did tell them, like, y'all gotta stay close. It's a lot of people here. And I made sure I had them on certain things so that I could spot them in a crowd. So there's also that. But like I said, just have fun. I don't know. I can't tell you. It was fun to me. And I'm planning on going back. But that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something from this video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But hopefully you did. If not, it's just knowledge. It's just, girl chat, I guess. Or mom chat. Because at this point, it just is what it is. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And be on the lookout for our last Disney videos, which are both Magic Kingdom days. So be on the lookout for those because they're coming. And then I don't know, I can't say what our next trip will be. We are planning another trip, but I can't say what it'll be just yet. So just be on the lookout. So hit the notification bell so that when I do put it up, you'll be notified. Thanks for watching.